What? Questions? No. Let me check.
Somebody else is up now. You all have it?
I have no idea what it is.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We'll call this public hearing to order, and we'll begin with pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, roll call starting from my left.
Brittany Moore, Virginia Allen, Linda Sturgis.
Paul Sweet.
Mario Ariaga. Robert Smith.
Trav Arman.
Okay. As far as the charge that's been given to the Charter Revision Commission, we started late spring, and we've been working our way through now into midsummer, and we've done a lot of work and a lot of information gathering. And tonight, this public hearing is to present to you what we've come up with that we feel is a significant contribution to the charter as far as changes being made. And we have explanations. We handed out sheets of why what the question is, what the changes, some of the things against it, opinion why it might not be a good idea, and then we also got why it should be a good idea. So we've done some work. Trav, I thank you again for all the work you put into this, and we have a good group of people here, and we've got some good research people here, and that's been helpful. So we're going to get right into why we're here this evening. I think you might have some handouts that have been given to you, and what we'll do, I'll read to the public the changes, and then we'll have a discussion about what everybody's ideas are, opinions are. The first question, shall the town charter be revised to expand the Board of Selectmen from 3 to 5 members effective with the November 2027 town election? That's one question. Question number 2, shall the town charter be revised to grant the Board of Police Commissioners the authority upon majority vote to retain independent legal counsel separate from town council whenever the commission determines such representation is necessary to carry out its statutory, disciplinary, investigatory, and administrative or oversight responsibilities, including matters involving conflicts of interest? Question 2. Question 3, shall the charter, section 25D, be revised to raise the grant match approval limit from $10,000 to $35,000? Finally, question number 4, shall the town charter be revised to require that funds received by the town under an awarded grant be used only for the purpose stated in that grant? So there's 4 questions that, and we've had a lot of discussion. We've had some things that were presented to us, and we made decisions that we didn't think some things were worth forwarding to make changes in the charter. We just didn't see where it rose up to a test or the bar that we felt that it was going to really change anything in the outcome. But these 4 questions were the 4 questions we come up with. I know historically there's been, I don't know, anywhere from 8 to 12 to 15 questions every election. And one of the biggest problems is trying to educate people exactly what you're trying to do. And sometimes when you see dollar amounts attached to questions, people automatically just vote against it without even really knowing why. And believe it or not, people have voted against numbers that actually would have saved them money. And like an election, for example, you spend more money in having a referendum than actually what the money you need to be appropriated. And that's why we're raising this, and I will explain to you why we're raising that amount. So all in all, we have 4 questions that we like to further to the Board of Selectmen for consideration. And And again, we really put some work into this. A lot of studying, a lot of research. And even though the crowds have been small and meetings are attended the meetings were attended fairly well, but not by no super majority by any means. I guess people got a lot going on and they're not really following these things. And that's unfortunate because the four things tonight, the four questions being proposed tonight are really to benefit the town of Plainfield. And strengthen the charter and to govern, give the tools to different, not only Board of Selectmen, but the other groups, boards, commissions to get their job done appropriately and within the statutes, within the law. So we'll begin tonight with question one, looking at question one. Shall the town charter be revised to expand the Board of Selectmen from 3 to 5 members effective with the November 2027 town election? That would not be this November, it would be the following November. This is a public hearing, so we worked to put the arguments together, and we'd like to hear from you folks too, and that's kind of important. We can go over the arguments quickly, it'd be fine. The argument in favor: ends two-person rule. Today, 2 votes decide everything for a town of 15,000 people. With 5 members, every decision takes at least 3 votes. Second, more representation for the people. 5 voices for 15,000 residents instead of 3. More neighbors serving, more viewpoints heard, and more residents who know someone they can call at a town meeting. An absence cannot shut down town hall. 1 member on vacation or another out sick leaves a 3-member board unable to act at all. A 5-member board keeps meetings and voting happening. Conflicts of interest stop freezing decisions. When a member must step aside on a contract or a land matter, 4 members remain. The board still acts. Third, and lastly, both parties always have a seat at the table. State law guarantees the minority party at least 2 seats on a 5-member board, no matter which side wins. Today, only 1 seat is guaranteed. So, so this is the arguments in favor. Against consideration: it costs more. 2 selectmen to pay roughly $6,000 to $12,000 a year at a typical Connecticut rates. Meetings may run longer. 5 people talking takes a little more time than 3. 5 candidates must be found. Every election needs 5 willing, qualified across 2 parties. Some years that is hard. A majority can still control. 3 members voting together decide everything on a 5-member board. The same way a 2-member does it today, the 2 members. More people to keep in the loop. 2 more officials to brief, schedule, and answer questions for staff time goes up. So, in the back of that first question, the record, Connecticut towns running 5-member boards today. Guilford, Lebanon, Marlborough, Madison, East Lyme, and Canton have 5-member boards. If I heard it right, Griswold is going from 3 to 5. I've heard that in their town hall. I'm not sure if they got something going on right now or not, but they're moving toward that also. The law allows it. Connecticut General Statute 9188. Any town with a population of 10,000 or more may elect up to 6 selectmen in addition to the first selectman. Plainfield, at roughly 15,000 residents, qualifies. The same statute set the 5-party minority rule. No more than 3 members of the board may belong to the same political party. Charter amendment procedure, Connecticut General Statutes, section 7188 through 7193. Where it failed and why when it was proposed in Chester on November 5th, 2024, voters rejected a proposed new charter about 2 to 1. That ballot bundled a board expansion with the elimination of its elected planning zoning commission, and zoning board of appeals, and other sweeping changes in a single all or nothing question. Now, all these changes in one question. You might be for something, you may be against something, but you got to consider multiple items in one question. Makes it very difficult. No standalone Board of Selectmen expansion question has failed in Connecticut. You hear that? If a standalone question to increase 3 to 5 has not failed anywhere in the state of Connecticut, which is significant. And we give you some sources to consider on your own time. You can look at that. Any questions about question 1 from the audience? Go ahead.
You guys did a great job, fantastic job on your research and everything here. The only question I have is I agree with everything you're doing, and all 4 questions I agree with. But I have had several people ask me about the town administrator or town manager and where that discussion fell. I also was in a Year 1 Institute last week, a week and a half ago, and of the 5 states that were represented, I was the only hand that was raised for no town administrator or town manager. The professor did look, and he's like, oh, and he was a manager, a town manager. And he goes, you must be a really small town. And I said, about 15,000, and his eyes just like popped at me like, what? So I was an outlier there in that whole 5-state thing. That happened time and time again with many other issues, but definitely with the town manager, we did stick out like a sore thumb, not having a town manager or town administrator overseeing our town and helping run it. I didn't know where the board was on that whole topic,
Right.
But I love what you guys have done.
The town manager, town administrator came up before this board very early on in the process. A couple of statements were made that it was going to take time to educate the public on that change. We were still willing to go forward with it, but the more work we were doing, the more we were realizing that we could not educate a community for this fall's election. In other words, we all believed in it, but we just did not feel that we had the time to put it forward with the work that you see we're giving you tonight.
Yeah, right.
And believe me, we really wrestled with this. Again, we were majority, all of us, were opinion that this needed to happen. But we felt if we could move forward and increase the board from 3 to 5, that would be a good beginning. And that would make the ballot in November. And then next November, hopefully, the Charter Commission would tackle maybe just that one issue of administrator.
Okay.
It's nothing to fear. It's time, okay? It's time. Plainfield got an old form of government, 326 years old. And that's fine when you're a little small town with a few people in it back in them days. But now it's complicated. And so I'm not going to belabor this because there is so much to it. But to answer your question, there are people that really look forward to see that question get on the ballot. I'm not saying which way it would go, but they're looking to see it. I would like to see the people be educated, and I would like to see whoever the current administration is at that time also support it. We seemed like we were supporting it going into the past fall election, the last one. I'm sorry about that. Should shut the thing off. It seems like we're on that kind of page that we could support it. And for the better, in my opinion right now, for the better of the town, we need to really look at all this, educate ourselves, and see why it's better and why it's needed. So that's what happened, Diane.
That's a good
We
explanation.
just weren't ready to throw it out there just for the sake of putting it out there. Okay. Anyway, yes, sir.
Yeah, that was gonna be my question as well, because I knew that topic of having a town administrator had been discussed. So I guess my question is, what you're proposing is gonna be one selectman who is gonna be the administrator, and then 4 that are gonna be similar to the other 2 that we have now. Okay,
That's pretty much what it is, yeah.
that's all you need to know. Yep.
The selectmen, at where the charter stands today, they could hire any staff that they wanted to, correct? And
Yes.
operate the
Correct.
government as they see.
We talked about that too, and I do think we need to move in the direction of the town administrator. I think I brought that up probably 50 times. And I'm a big supporter of it, and I do think it needs to happen. But you are correct, and we look at that by addressing that as well, because in reality, the first selectman can hire who he pleases, or she pleases, to assist in running the day-to-day operations.
There is in the charter currently, and then we'll leave it alone, the town can hire now whoever they felt they needed to make the town run appropriately. There's language there right now, and we talking about, if someone goes out, will that person go out, we'd hate to see this become a revolving door. We like to see the authority of the charter be behind it, and but it's good to know that if you needed someone. In the past, they've done not hired administrator, but they've hired financial people, and they've hired separate auditors, and they've done different things because they could, and it's legal. Okay, we're gonna move to question 2. Okay. Question 2, shall the town charter be revised to grant the Board of Police Commissioners the authority upon majority vote to retain independent legal counsel separate from the town council whenever the commission determines such representation is necessary to carry out its statutory, disciplinary, investigatory, and administrative and oversight responsibilities, including matters involving conflict of interest. Arguments in favor. One lawyer cannot fairly serve both sides. Town council advises the selectmen and every town department at once. When a police matter puts the town on both sides, the commission would have its own lawyer for that matter. Fewer expense do-overs. Decisions made on conflicted legal advice invites court challenges and the cost of fighting and redoing them. Independent advice makes decisions harder to overturn. Protects officers and the commission alike. Advice from a lawyer with no divided loyalty serves everyone on both sides of the police matter. Case by case, vote by vote. The commission must vote each time. It is not approved once for everything. Other towns have paid for not having it. Connecticut towns without this authority have spent years of legal bills entangling who is the shared lawyer actually represents. Arguments against consideration. Outside lawyers bill by the hour, so don't inside lawyers, by the way. Each time the commission hires one, the town takes on a legal bill. Nobody budgeted in advance. The commission decides on its own. As written, no other board signs off before spending starts. 2 lawyers can mean 2 positions. Town council and a commission lawyer could argue opposite sides of the same town in the same case. The wording is broad. Whenever the commission determines, covers routine business, not just conflict of interest. No reporting is required. The text does not say the commission must report how often it hires outside counsel and what it costs. Okay. Backside, the problem on record. The same law firm ended up advising both town and police commission in the same disputed matter with no contract defining who it answered to. The dispute consumed months. Avon gives you the public record fight where representation lines were tangled, ran 4 years, and it cost them over $13,000 legal expenses over a single dispute. Both cases are detailed in the commission's full research report on this question, available from the commission. The law behind it. Connecticut General Statute 7276 gives Board of Police Commissioners their power. Section 7277, Section 7278 govern police expense and chief's tenure. None of them provide the commission a lawyer of its own. The Home Rule Act, Connecticut General Statute 7188, 7193, let the town assign that authority in its charter. This amendment adds one new subsection 8-2B to the existing town council section. Everything else in section 8.2 stays exactly as it is. Where it's failed and why. The commission research found no Connecticut referendum in which voters rejected a police commission council provision. The cost on record comes from towns that lack one and litigated case by case. All right.
I think it's important here to realize that this proposal does not replace town council, and it does not require the police commission to use separate counsel for routine matters. Town council would continue to serve the town under the charter. This simply gives the Board of Police Commission the ability, by majority vote, to obtain the independent representation regarding its responsibilities and the circumstance of that matter.
And we did discuss that, like, for financial reporting on it, it still has to go through the Board of Finance appropriations, correct?
Well, there is already a line item for town council.
But
So
it exceeds that.
if it supersedes in that any which way, then they would need an
So
appropriation.
yes, it's fiscal records.
So nothing changes other than that one line is added to that section.
In the legal line item, as I remember, it's just one line item, it said legal services. The appropriation that would go in there if approved, and it ought to be approved because under the statutes, when the town voted for a police commissioner back in the 80s, they didn't, maybe their reason for voting wasn't so good, but the bottom line is the authority of the state statute would clearly give the Board of Police Commissioners certain authority. And the town denying them the access to counsel on specific matters would be wrong. It would be inappropriate, and it's going to end up coming right back at us again. Now, let's just say they appropriate, I don't know what this budget said, but I'm assuming it's over 100,000, but let's say they appropriate 140,000, and in the detail, they put 40,000 under the detail they give the Board of Finance, tells you how much, what they expect, what the cases are. That money that's dedicated to police commission or identified as police commission in the detail, not the line item, but in the detail that the Board of Finance, so they know what you're actually appropriating. If it's not used, it stays there. It goes back into the coffer at the end of the year. It's not, correct me if I'm wrong, this is not a lump sum of money that's not used and then the Board of Selectmen go and ask for a line item transfer because they have this money left in legal line item. No, it goes right back into the coffer. It's not used, it goes back into the general fund. You start your new budget the following year, you reappropriate. So it's necessary to avoid conflicts. I can only remember a couple in the 10 years that I had in the years that I worked here where we had something get snarled up. And our council, the town council, had to deal with two groups. And luckily, common sense prevailed and they weren't big ticket items. But if something becomes a big ticket item, it can get very ugly real quick. I don't want to influence you, I just want to tell you the truth, that's all. And so there's so much internal control on these resources, not only from the Board of Selectmen, but from the Board of Finance, and the people got to vote too. So it's appropriate, and I've known, myself and others have known for a very long time, because we feared the quality of people that were on the police commission, that the town was not doing its job. Look at the people that are qualified to actually be there. In the last few years, we've now seen to turn that corner around where we're being responsible. Previous years, I will tell you straight out, the Board of Selectmen wanted total control when it came to legal matters with the police commission and the police department. We did not want to share that. We're not giving up anything. We just put some resources in there that are appropriate. And that's it. It's not like you know, then, you know, the board of selectmen are taken out of the picture, or the first selectman is no longer in the picture. It's not, that's not a retaliatory thing. It's something that is necessary, probably, and it's appropriate. And doesn't mean it's not ever gonna be used. You just don't know, but it's there. And, so that's where we are. Any questions on this? Okay, we'll go to question 3.
Hold on, Trav has something. Trav has something.
Oh, I'm sorry, Travis.
Yeah, so if, this is very rarely used. Upon, looking at this, I mean, what is it, 160 plus on towns in the entire state? And 2 in the last 20 years. And that was more or less everything went wrong. So this is actually, I consider way overdue. It's only triggered really in conflict. And so the Board of Police Commission, or whatever.
Can't think of it.
But it's so very rarely used, and it's not like $200,000 every year. It's maybe $200,000 for the life of the empire. I mean, it's that infrequent.
And I think at the end of the day, it may never need to be used.
Exactly.
It just needs to have that ability to be used.
And, you know, there was something that come up this past year that left us open. And if you can get away from that kind of stuff, so you're not turning departments against departments and attitudes and things against, that's the appropriate way to do it. If there's a process to follow a process, it's clean, it's orderly, it's monitored. All right, enough of me. How about question number 3? Shall the charter, section 25D, be revised to raise the grant match approval limit from $10,000 to $35,000? The current language, Yeah, okay. Any initial application by the town for state or federal grant involving a local financial share estimated to be more than $10,000 for any fiscal year would require a town meeting. And I'm gonna let Travis, he is, I don't put you on the spot, but the fact of the matter is, this is an example of going to a town meeting to appropriate $10,000, and it costs you more money to do all the legal notices and everything that goes with it. Go ahead, Travis, I'll let you explain it.
So for lack of better words, question 3 is housekeeping. Right now, our $10,000 limit in 2026 is about $4,500 in 1983 money. Now, what was scary, I didn't even know this until it happened, as the lower amounts are given, the percentages to acquire them go up. So if you say, okay, let's just take $1 million of all the things in miscellaneous, we're finding like even low-end items, like $10,000, 15% of that is just electricity, people being here, printing this out. And so a $10,000 item can easily become $12,000, $13,000 with all the overhead. And so this actually reduces overhead a lot. And when I looked at all of the math, it's like 15% of our budget is just discussing it. And that, it just kills it. And so we think we're saving money, we think we're actually not. We're actually losing it. And so this actually just moves it up to current numbers. We're not literally adding anything. We have fallen behind since 1983. So this just brings it up to current. We're not changing the power, we're not changing the percentages. It's literally just adjusting for inflation, and that's it. We're not asking for more, and we currently we actually have less since 1983. That's the whole premise is just truthfully housekeeping.
I'll add to that when the charter was voted on in 1984, that number was $10,000 in 1984. So it's been 40 years since anybody's really looked at what the buying power is and what it's actually $10,000 is worth then and what it's worth today. So we're trying to give our local government and those in authority some ability to help out. Let's look at this question, and look at the arguments in favor. Grant money reduces what taxes must cover. Every grant the town wins is outside money doing local work. A missed grant means that property taxes do the job instead. It restores the original rule, the $10,000 limit, like Trav said, was written 4 decades ago. $10,000 then was worth about $35,000 today. Same protection, today's dollars. Fewer missed deadlines. Grant windows close fast, they do. Weeks spent scheduling a town meeting for a small match have real costs when the calendar runs out. Meetings cost money too. Legal notices, staff time, preparation, all real cost, real money. Spent to approve a routine match. Big commitment still works the same way. Nothing changes above the $35,000 number. Arguments against consideration, voters lose a say on some spending. Matches between 10 and 35 would no longer come to a town meeting. It is a big jump at once, 3.5 times the current limit in a single step. Some residents may prefer a smaller increase. Nothing keeps it current. The new figure will lose value over time, exactly as the old one did, until someone changes it again. The only check below 35,000 is the 2 boards, the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance. The same bodies that approve a match would approve it themselves, not requiring a town meeting anymore. Grant matches are still town money. Some residents believe every spending commitment deserves a direct vote. And Travis explained to you the math of how we came to this understanding. And the law, charter fiscal thresholds are set by the town itself under Home Rule Act, Connecticut General Statute 7188 through 7193. Grant acceptance is a municipal power under section 148, No state statute fixes a grant match threshold. Each town chooses its own number. Towns that updated the old dollar amount, Coventry charter set at 100,000 threshold before a machine ballot is required on appropriations, operating without controversy. Granby charter ties an automatic referendum to budget growth, tailed by its own voters. Bethel passed its charter modernization package, all 8 questions in November of 2025. Where it failed and why, Summers, November 4, 2025, a spending threshold question written as a percentage of the budget formula failed 976 to 1,143. Voters could not evaluate a formula in a voting booth. Plainfield question used plain dollar figures, 10,000 to 35,000. Pretty straightforward, and you like me to explain this to the whole voting population, so they get to see the facts behind it. Now, there's been a couple more public hearings, at least a selectmen's meeting and another public hearing, and hopefully maybe some folks will come out. Last question. Any questions up here? Okay. Question number 4.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
Where did question 4 come from? I thought that was labeled by the
You
group.
know, when I saw 4 myself, I said,
Not in my notes.
Not in the minutes.
nah. Did you get it?
That was added in the 2 previous times. It was at the last minute, which was the last question.
Yeah, and then we tabled it and decided at the last meeting that we weren't gonna go forward with it. We were gonna leave it at 3 questions.
You wanted 3? Okay, well then, I guess it's a 3-question thing.
I do remember we discussed it, but I don't remember voting to bring it forward.
We did not.
We didn't do that.
No, you didn't do that.
Okay.
Minutes.
Well, sometimes, when you're working that hard, to put all this work together. So it's an oversight.
Sure.
I think we go back to our next charter revision meeting next week,
Right.
and we can look at it again. It's not too late to consider or not to go forward with it.
Well, at least they have the draft. They can look at it.
Right, yeah.
That works.
We have all the information,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I remember this coming up, and, but we did vote, so we didn't vote, we're not bringing it forward tonight. We're gonna go back to the meeting and talk about it, okay? You all agree?
Yes.
So you have 3 questions presented to you tonight. We're gonna hold back on a possible 4th question. May not see it again, or we may. Is there any questions of what's been presented tonight to anyone? I just have to say, we're not patting ourselves on the back. There's a lot of research, but especially, all the questions were specifically research, but the police commission took a lot of research, and then, the grants and, adding from 3 to 5 took time. And we tried to lay it out right to people that would be here so they could see it for themselves. No controversy, in our opinions, there's no controversy here. It's really to move the town forward and, one step at a time, so to speak, I guess. Yes?
I do have a question. So this is the way we'll see the question on the ballot.
No, we're gonna be asked for legal opinion.
So I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
it's gotta go to the attorney to get.
We're not
the way to be
attorneys,
worded
yeah.
For the charter, and then it's gotta come back with that correct wording. So this can be the way it
Right.
was on the ballot, that's
Yeah.
fine, but the way it appears in the charter is completely different with the
Sure.
attorney. But it also has to come back with explanations, because every ballot that goes out has to have like a trifold, explanation of the questions that are up here on the ballot. Autumn can put it together, but the wording should come from the attorneys, and then I've got on her computer, we've got a template to create the trifold, but I do need the attorney to give us the explanation as
I'm
well
sorry,
as.
Diana, I'm hearing impaired and you're soft-spoken, but
Gotcha.
I should have said right from the get-go that we put these in a form of how it's gonna, it always starts shall the town.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
that's how it starts. We're good at
And
that,
I think
but,
these questions are fine to appear on the ballot as is, but I would have the attorney,
oh, yeah.
look it
Yeah,
over, but
we
the attorney's gotta
expected,
give me the
first
wording for
selectman
the
most
charter
likely,
itself.
the board of selectmen would most likely, send it. We should. Let an attorney look at it.
Yep.
But I think we did a good job here. It's the same, you didn't go spend a lot of money to read these questions, you know? So, but we do think legal review is necessary.
The way that these are written was done exactly as many previous questions from the town have done. So the wording is formatted, its strategy, and even how it's, the demographics of the people were brought in here. So it was clear cut, clean, and in fact, the way that all these questions were, when we first did them, they were actually illegal. The reason why is that those questions that I made were promoting one or the other, and per actually Connecticut law, you cannot do this as a commission. You have to present it as these are facts, and so it can't say, you know, like, we would really like you to do this. You can't do that. So it's either for or against, and those are legal terms. So this is as sterile, clean, and as legal as we could make it.
Yeah. We're confident that the lawyer shouldn't have to spend a lot of time reading
No,
this.
no, I don't think so.
But I would like to talk with you after, to understand what you just said.
Yeah, so the attorney will just give me all of the legal stuff that, to create that book, to print it.
Okay. Anything else tonight? Seeing there's no other business, I will adjourn this public hearing. I don't think we need a motion to do that. Do we? I don't
There's
think
no
so.
action items.
I think we can conclude the public hearing. Somebody give me a motion.
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Okay.
I'll second.
Second on that, Lynn?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. Thank you for coming.